Well, I'm sitting here today with Mark Joyner, the godfather of internet marketing, as he commonly called, and the inventor or the creator of the very first ad tracking system, ROI bot, if I remember right. It's no longer online, he said?
No longer, yeah. It was sold off many years ago.
Well, that's good because now mine is on there.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Now, the reason why I'm talking to you today and to show to listeners about the importance or the power of using split testing and ad tracking with your websites.
Yeah.
And to get started, the very first question I wanted to ask you is, what's your personal stand on doing split testing in general?
Well, of course, I'm all for it. At the same time, we have to be careful. A lot of people will allow the lack of testing to prevent them from moving forward with their marketing. And again, the concept of paralysis by analysis. If you get stuck on something or something prevents you from taking action, that's the worst possible thing. So the important thing is that you keep momentum moving forward.
Getting started. Yeah.
Getting started, keeping your business moving, actually get that product out there. Okay, because I have run products, I've launched products out there with very little testing. At the same time, or sometimes none. Okay, at the same time, when I have conducted testing, over time it increases the amount of money that I can make from that product. Okay, so for example, very simple concept. You run two versions of a piece of ad copy against each other. Sometimes one piece can double, triple, even quadruple the ad copy, even if it's only 10% better, marginally better than another piece. Over time, that means more money to you.
Exponential,
right? Also. Exponentially, yeah, or logarithmically, depending on how we do it. Yeah, depending on how huge the difference is, right? So I'm a big proponent of it, and I attempt to integrate it into what I'm doing as much as possible, but not just a simple sales letter. You can split test various steps in your marketing process, and sometimes you find the weakest part of your marketing process, and if you can do split testing there and increase the effectiveness of that, you have this massive ripple effect through the rest of it. Okay, so So I couldn't be a stronger endorser of split testing.
Is there a certain order where you would say I should split test a certain thing first, another one second? What's your opinion about that one?
There are a lot of thoughts about that, and the classic answer is test your headline first, your offer, your order page second.
The one that has the most effect, basically.
Those have the most impact. Yeah, there's no question about it. Right. But what I would do is I would find the weakest part of your marketing, okay, and find out what's converting the worst. Now, this is something you won't hear other people talking about. It's sort of a new concept. Find that weakest thing, all right. Split test that. Find out how to improve that, and then. If you have something that's converting marginally and you can double it by improving this weak thing over here, right? Something that's performing very well, you might be able to get 10 or 15% increase. Double this weak spot over here, boom, you doubled your sales again.
But should you start? Some people say you should start with the first step in the process first, because if you're double it there, then it goes down there. But you say also in some cases go to the really weak one if it's like maybe let's say the one-time offer.
Yeah.
You see that one is just converting a very low percentage. Get that one.
Absolutely.
First.
Yeah, if you understand what kinds of percentages are acceptable for your industry and for the type of copy that you write and for your marketing process, and then you find that weak spot, you're actually going to get better results. Now, yes, testing the beginning one is fine, it's a great theory, but if that particular first step is already doing very well, it's unlikely that you're going to get more than like 10 or 15% improvement in that. Okay, but if you can find this weak spot where you're losing all these people and everybody's dropping off, you're getting maybe like 0.01%, then you can double or triple that. Well, then you've doubled or tripled your sales.
Yeah, like I said, so if you get already like on an opt-in like 50% conversion, is extremely well.
Yeah.
Some people like 15, 20 they're happy with, or 30.
Yes.
Then don't bother about that one. Don't try to get that one up to 60 or whatever.
Yes.
But you see the one-time offer is just 0.25% or something.
That's right.
Get that one up to at least 1%, 2, 3, something around there.
Yeah, and the actual numbers, that it's debatable what's acceptable and what's not. And remember, we have to talk about the source of traffic as well. Certain sources of traffic are going to be more or less likely to convert something. So someone could tell me, hey, I got 50% conversion rate on this thing, and I'm thinking, well, what did you have, 10 guys in a room where you set them down to a sales presentation? In that particular context, it's possible and it makes sense. But if it's another type of what I call cheeseburger traffic, right? Filet mignon traffic. You remember that concept?
Yep.
Filet mignon traffic and cheeseburger traffic. Filet mignon traffic converts much better. Cheeseburger traffic doesn't. But cheeseburger traffic is also cheaper, right? So you got to look at what the return on investment is, because if you can spend $1,000 on cheeseburger traffic, it's going to get you $1,500. Okay. I'm going to do that all day long, right? Now, if I spend $20,000 on filet mignon traffic, that's going to make me only $5,000. I'm losing my money, right?
So that makes it also important to know what kind of traffic you're getting when you're testing. So you're wondering why you have a very low conversion. Maybe all your members, affiliates promote like using traffic exchanges, or even save lists, stuff like that.
Sure. Well,
and then compare to somebody else who's sending a listener to his list of customers a message out to them, or to some let's say big name guru.
Yes, that's right.
Not that we're having anybody here. Just kidding.
Well, if you get an endorsement from somebody, okay, somebody that somebody knows, all right. So here's an example of a way that you can multiply that effect. Okay, if I, as a third party, endorse your product, okay, I am going to, by definition, get better conversion, okay, than probably you will when you're tooting your own horn.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, it depends on your relationship. If you have an absolutely golden relationship with your customer, all right, where you've been treating them so amazingly well, then you may actually get better conversion than me. Okay?
Well, in our case, I guess not, but in general, you're right. It depends on both sides. I mean, if you have somebody there who has endorses you and has a great relationship, but that one has a bad relationship with this list, then I agree.
And there's nothing that can fix that, by the way. There's no amount of split testing that can fix a ruined relationship with a customer, you know. And all of that money comes from what we talk about in the book, The Great Formula, the second glass.
Yeah, I've read that.
Right? So remember, 3 steps: create the irresistible offer, present it to a thirsty crowd, sell them a second glass. All of the great fortunes in the world have been built on the second glass. Okay.
Yeah. And then increasing the profits by doing split testing, for example.
And they will, most companies that I know, I don't know of a single company that has reached great wealth, that lasting, enduring, historic greatness, without doing some type of testing of, trying different approaches. Because if you're trying one approach and you think it's working okay and you just let it sit there, well, it's going to continue to perform marginally. But if you're constantly trying to improve that, while not modifying the consistency of your brand message, okay, you will constantly improve the results that you get for your company. So
over time. Yeah.
Over time, yeah.
One other question I wanted to ask you, if there's any preference you have in the method of splitting. There are different methods out there, like A/B, like you mentioned, A/B split testing. Some people talk about Taguchi testing. I have an opinion, but I would like to know, or would like to share with the viewers, what is your stand on that?
I can tell you my personal feeling, and everybody's got their own opinion on this. And there are some people who I respect very much who use Taguchi testing and say that that's the way that works for them. For me personally, from what I understand about the way the Taguchi algorithm works, it is not paying respect to the fact that, and this is going to sound a little bit technical, but that certain variables are not additive. Okay, so for example, Taguchi testing will ask you to test a whole number of different variables all at once, and then it'll say, well, we're now going to tell you which combination of variables are going to work best. But you can't really know this, right? Because without actually testing those combinations of variables in the real world, you cannot know how they will perform together. Now, with that said, Taguchi testing, from what I understand, some people can use it to whittle down a number of larger variables, and it will help you with that, okay? But the most effective testing, and what I use personally, is I will use very, very simple A/B split testing.
So it's faster.
It's much faster, but I will also do it to a much higher degree of statistical significance. A lot of people will say, well, I've got this, version A got 5 sales, version B got 3, so therefore version A is better. Well, that's bad statistics, right? Because you could find out over time that, really ultimately version B is the one that would win out, okay?
Absolutely agree on that. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I put in the system that we're using there a way to basically evaluate your results. It's going to tell you this is like 95% sure it's going to stay like this, or 99.
That's right.
Or it's going to tell you no, it's not sure. You have like 5 sales here and 7 there, and you just got like a.
And yours will tell you that.
Yeah, it has.
Well, that's great. That's the only ad tracking I know of that has that built in. Okay, so if you have that, you've got a great feature there. Not having seen your software, I can't say, but I mean, what I can say right off the bat is if you're putting that in there, I don't have any other that does that. And one thing about Taguchi that I'll say is Taguchi is an algorithm that works from the world of engineering. Okay. Now the world of engineering is a linear additive world. Okay, we can't actually calculate how certain things, when combined, will behave in the physical world just through physics, right? We can know this, right? But we can't do this when we're talking about this unknown quantity of human persuasion, which is what copywriting is. Okay.
True. I mean, you have like one headline that might not work with the body copy, and if you split test both at the same time, or multivariate split test or
Right.
test, it might be that the combination just doesn't work. It thinks,
Exactly.
but it doesn't work in combination.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So that's why a lot of people actually say, like you, keeping it to one test at a time, just the headline at that point,
Yeah.
and later maybe the body copy.
That's right.
Or the offer
That's
of
right.
the sales letter, etc. That's
And
right.
there are other forms of testing you can get into. I mean, I call that, well, you can test multiple variables at a time, but you need to pay attention to the fact that the combinations of those variables are going to bring, different results. And if you do that, it means you have to gather more and more data, because to get statistical significance on one A/B split test takes a lot less data than getting statistical significance on a whole number of combinations, okay,
That's right,
or
yeah.
permutations of a set of combinations. Okay, so it's so much simpler just to do A and B, get real good significance on that, and then chug away on the next one.
That's great, thanks. The other point, the other topic I wanted to scratch here and start ask you something about is about the ad tracking. Do you use ad tracking yourself? Do you believe it's important for people?
Absolutely, yeah. And again, there are times that I've done businesses without doing it, but I always, if the business is going to stick around for the long term, we'll definitely do it. It's an integral part of growing a business. If you don't do it, you're making a mistake. But you have to do it in a very, very simple and consistent way.
It's basically what I say usually is like, if you don't do ad tracking, how do you know if an ad, if something that you pay for especially,
Yeah.
is it performing or not?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
like 3 ads and 3 newsletters.
Well, in
and
that
you-
case, you have to know, right?
you have to know.
Yeah, well, you have to at least measure ROI,
Mhm.
right? I mean, if you're spending dollars on advertising, you don't know how many dollars those are bringing back to you.
if it's free advertising, maybe you can like not
Free
worry about
advertising,
that.
yeah, you may not have to worry about it, right?
But especially paid advertising in that case.
without question. And if not, you're flushing money down the toilet.
So that's the reason why it's important and powerful to do that. But otherwise, basic to save and not to waste money.
Yeah.
I got a final question. What I want to ask you is if you have any additional comments, maybe something that you didn't touch it in this regard, regular split testing or ad tracking, something
Yeah.
you want to add to the viewers so they.
Well, what I would say that the important thing is, and I'm assuming that these guys are all people who are going to be starting some kind of business on the internet, or they have a business now. Just get out there and get it going, and get it up and get it happening. Start experimenting with different things. Don't get discouraged. You're going to fall flat on your face 100 times at least. I've done it more than 100 times. Yeah, just get up again and do it. And don't let things slow you down, okay? These are all great ideas that you're talking about, okay? Get the product together there, then throw in some tracking, okay? Get the tracking going, then go move on to something else. Don't obsess over it. Some guys obsess over testing, and when really, what Frank is offering you here is a way of doing the testing so that you can set it up and then forget about it. It's doing the legwork for you, okay? That's the great thing about automated ad tracking.
Right.
This is the reason we did it first. We did ad tracking for ourselves in our own company before we, I realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm sure I'm not the only one who wants to track his ads on the internet.
What was it, 19 something, 19?
97, I think, is when the
97,
first company came out with
A few years ago, 10 years ago now.
Yeah, 10 years ago now. Goodness, time flies.
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree on that. The other thing is also, like you said, it's don't be a perfectionist. Some people they like to get everything down to the little I dot somewhere.
Yeah.
They want to get it all perfect, like it's tested, like to have like an extreme good conversion. Get it started and then improve it over time.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Would really like to thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge with the viewers here, and really appreciate that. And like to say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for
Great.
having me.
Thanks.